I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. Starlux Airlines A350-900 business class is the best international business class product that I have ever tried. It was so good that I only have one complaint. I'll tell you about that later in this video, but prepare yourselves. It's maybe the most ridiculous first world problems kind of complaining that you'll ever hear. Despite what this looks like, welcome to Japan's busiest airport. At least if you combine international passenger and cargo traffic. My name is Scott. I'm the guy who writes incredibly detailed airline reviews over on SANspotter.com, and if you couldn't guess it by now, I'm at Narita International Airport, just outside of Tokyo. Terminal 2, to be more specific. Anyway, today is going to be a good day, I think. Why? Because I'm flying Starlux Airlines A350-900 business class down to Taipei. That's why. It's not my first time flying Starlux, so I already know that this is going to be good. But the question is, how good? Based on what I know, my prediction of this being a good day is likely to stand firm. Starlux is arguably the best airline in Asia at the moment. And now that they've ventured into the long-haul business class game, I can't think of any reason why this isn't going to be spectacular. Unless they cancel the flight or something. Where is everybody? Flying Starlux Airlines out of Narita will get you into the JAL Secura Lounge. It seemed kind of odd at first, but I guess it makes sense considering that they've contracted JAL for nearly all of their ground handling here. I've been to this lounge a few times over the years, and it's always been an excellent place to grab a good meal and, most importantly, some peace and quiet. The orange juice is excellent, by the way. And yes, I do realize what I'm saying here slightly contradicts what I wrote in my most recent email newsletter about not really enjoying airport lounges all that much anymore. By the way, there's a link in the description below if you want to sign up for that. But regardless of my overall thoughts on this matter, I'm not afraid to admit that it's kind of hard to hate on airport lounging when you can do it in complete and glorious solitude, just like this. As if my day couldn't possibly get any better, the gate for this flight to Taipei was located directly adjacent to the lounge. It was a 53-second walk from the lounge to gate 62. Yes, I actually timed it. So that's why I don't have any footage of Terminal 2 for you here today. Anyway, this is the Starlux A350-900 that will be taking me down to Taipei. It arrived a little late due to the weather, but considering what has already transpired this morning, and what I have to look forward to, it's all good. Perhaps one of the most interesting things about waiting for this flight to board was the fact that everyone seemed to be excited. I noticed a lot more people than normal running to the window to take pictures of the aircraft, which seems to imply that, I don't know, just maybe Starlux is very well loved here in Asia. Or at the very least, they're at least just oddly curious, which is a good thing, I guess. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that maybe the folks over at EVA Air, that other Taiwanese airline, needs to be taking some notes here. First of all, I've never been a fan of sitting in the last row of business class, but this is nothing to be apprehensive about. This is incredible. So yeah, this is seat 7K, which is in the last row of business class on the left-hand side of the aircraft. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a massive 24-inch video screen. More on that in a moment, but first, the signature Starlux pre-departure drink. Yeah, that's good stuff. Legroom was probably the least impressive thing about this seat, which isn't to say that it was bad. It was excellent, as a matter of fact, but it was to be expected. It was the rest of the seat which darn near blew me away. Everything just oozed of high quality and great design. Storage compartments are huge. very well lit, and not only that, this seat features all of the latest and greatest tech that you would expect in 2024. I very much appreciated having both USB-C and wireless charging options available. But my favorite part? Well, that's easy. I present to you the amazing 24-inch 4K video screen. I have a lot to say about it, which I'm saving for later because I need to wrap up this section by telling you how impressed I am by everything. You can see me here trying to put it all into words, but all you need to know is that I was basically starstruck. Would you believe that they actually got us off the gate 2 minutes early, despite the nasty weather? It ended up being a bit of a head fake, though, considering that we were 20 minutes late by the time that we took off. Oh well. To be honest, I didn't even notice, thanks to the very clever and interesting safety video. I'm telling you, it was obvious that they put a ton of thought into every little detail of this experience. From the check-in process, to the assistance from the flight attendants when getting situated upon boarding, to that very well-done safety video, everything has been nearly perfect so far. Except the weather. Mother Nature wasn't putting nearly as much effort into this experience that Starlux was. So, yeah, it took us a little longer than usual to get to the threshold of runway 34 left. It was still pouring cats and dogs by the time we got there, which admittedly made for an interesting takeoff. And of course, there is a link to the full taxi and takeoff in the description below. It's a good one. If there's one thing that I'm not liking about this so far, it's that the total flying time down to Taipei will be a scant 3 hours and 10 minutes. I don't know, but that seems criminally short to be trying out a product this good. Okay, so let's talk about that 24-inch 4K video screen that I've mentioned several times already. The verdict? This is hands down the best in-flight entertainment system that I've ever experienced in any business class seat on any airline anywhere in the world. And it's not because of the decent catalog of movies and TV shows. It's the extremely well-designed user interface and that huge video screen, which makes this feel like a very premium experience. They didn't even skimp an inch on the noise-canceling headphones either. I have no idea what brand these are, but they're very well branded in the Starlux color palette. They even fit my odd-shaped head better than most noise-canceling headphones that I've tried recently. It's just too bad they couldn't make me look any better, though. This is the meal that I was served on a Starlux Airlines flight between Taipei and Penang in February of 2020. And this is the meal that I was served on this flight down to Taipei. I'm actually really glad to see that the standards of quality have remained high over the years. Just a little background here. They didn't provide printed menus on this flight. All orders were taken verbally, face-to-face, and there were basically two options. The Asian option and the Western option. I probably don't need to even tell you which option this one is, though that Diet Coke is admittedly a bit of a curveball. Honestly, it was excellent, as expected. I think the meal that I was served on that flight down to Penang a few years ago was maybe slightly better, though. This one did jiggle a bit more in turbulence, so I guess that's a plus. Dessert consisted of fresh fruit and a piece of cake of some kind. It was very tiramisu-like, but fruitier. I wish I could have told you exactly what this is, but without any printed menus, there's just no way that my short attention span is ever going to remember what they told me it was. It was good, though, as was the entire lunch service, for that matter. It kind of felt like dining in a 5-star restaurant, which is admittedly a bit outside of my comfort zone, but it feels good to be spoiled sometimes, right? These are fully private suites, by the way, if I didn't mention it already, so yeah, that's more like it. And would you believe that I had no idea that Airbus A350 window tint can go completely black? I like that. The other thing worth liking about this experience is how incredibly comfortable this seat is for lounging and sleeping. Not only is this blanket nearly as good as the one that I have at home, the seat has a position called 0G, which essentially drops your butt way down while elevating your head and your legs. It feels exactly how it sounds, and yeah, it is amazing. Please give me a second as I try to find something to say about the lavatory. Actually, I've got nothing. I do, however, have a lot of really good things to say about what has transpired out here in the business class cabin over the past 3 hours. Basically, I think this may have been the best international business class product that I have ever experienced. I mean, everything about this was so well choreographed and perfect, and it was very obvious that they thought very deeply about every little detail of this experience. From the way in which the cabin crew greeted me upon boarding, to the seat materials, cabin lighting, safety video, and everything else you saw, they didn't half-ass anything. Perhaps the best way to sum this up is to say that EVA Air, that other major Taiwanese airline, has every reason to be worried. Assuming that prices are similar, and they have been based on what I've seen, I would absolutely choose Starlux over EVA Air for a long-haul flight between the US and Taiwan. Okay, so what about the complaint that I mentioned at the beginning of this video? Well, it was the cabin crew. Don't get me wrong, the crew on this flight was world class. The problem is that I felt like they were trying too hard at times, and they just wouldn't leave me alone. Remember, I'm a total introvert, and I generally prefer to do things all by myself. But they just insisted on helping me with everything, from arranging my meal tray so that everything was neatly organized and accessible, to opening the lavatory door for me when I needed to go, and even shutting the door on my seat when I didn't really want it shut. And I lost count of the number of times during the flight when they asked me if I needed anything. Honestly, I just wanted to enjoy the flight in total solitude. This is a super petty complaint, I know, but I'm just being honest. Oh, and I should probably also mention that sitting in the last row of business class was perfectly fine. Yes, I was the last one to eat, but other than that, there were no issues with noise from the lavatory or galley or anything just behind me. I didn't even hear the toilet flush. Not even once. I'm telling you, they thought of everything. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way through to the end. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.